bringing in Carter Freeman for, it almost feels like an emergency segment.
Man, the Twitch is going to be pissed at this.
Because, sorry,
Good
Twitch.
for them.
Carter, anything? Oh, that's right. You don't come on the radio.
Oh, my gosh.
True. For a long time, I didn't. I had to prove Gavin Dawson wrong.
Holy crap. I don't think I've ever heard that drop before. Good Lord. All right. So Corey was really hot on this story. And then Carter was like, hey, I got something for you, Forgiveness Friday. And it was the exact same thing that Corey was talking about. And so the Big 12 is considering private equity investments of up to $1 billion for up to potentially 15 to 20% stake in the league. Now, Carter, I want to get right to the name and what will most likely annoy people the most about this potential business move.
Yeah, so this is from Brett McMurphy of the Action Network, who's a well-known college insider. He's saying that potential names for All-State and the Big 12 combining could be the Big All-State Conference or the All-State 12 Conference.
Stop it.
This is like the crap I took yesterday versus the crap I took today. This is all crap. This is so stupid. And my biggest thing is half the original Big 12 isn't even in the Big 12 anymore. I guess Colorado's coming back, so technically there's over half. But like the names that you associate with the Big 12, for the most part, are not there anymore. If you want to change the name of the conference, I think this is the time to do it. And then you add the sponsor, and preferably it would be whatever conference brought to you by All-State or brought to you by whoever. The big All-State Conference just sounds like an Onion headline.
And the thing that's going to beat people down is you'll be like, I could still call it the Big 12. No problem. Like, I've never called it the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. This is the Fiesta Bowl. But
I don't know. I did like that sponsor for it.
But when they go to the graphics, it's going to be the Big All-State Conference Championship. Or when you look up the standings, it's going to say in the All-State Conference, and you're going to be like, the hell is that?
But you're going to ignore it and watch the football.
No, I will watch the football, but I wonder how many people are going to get tripped up while this is happening, and they're like, what?
At first, and then it'll just become the norm.
You think we'll fall in line?
Yes. I think everybody will go, okay, well, that's just what it is. One of the things, Carter, that I think is very interesting in this is, what's the company that they're CVC Capital Partners?
Do you know where that's from? Luxembourg.
Luxembourg based.
Because when I think college football, I think Luxembourg.
They, in exchange for 15 to 20% stake in the league. And the reason that the Big 12 wants to do this is so that they can have access to the clients that CVC Capital Partners has.
Oh.
So that they can have the All-State in their title, so that they can bring money into their conference. And I quite honestly, Carter, I don't think the names of the teams in the Big 12 conference right now are enough to bring the money that they need to survive.
They're not. And because you look at the SEC and the Big 10 and how much money their TV contracts are worth, it is exorbitantly more than what the ACC and the Big 12 are offering their teams. And that's why the Big 12 decided to poach the Pac-12, because that would bring them more value to have more teams. That's more to sell to their TV partners.
And it is interesting that with this potential, not done yet, but potential capital infusion, that would get them to about the Big 10 media rights that you were just talking about. And I just wonder, like, I know you're not going to change the name of the school or anything. Well, who knows down the road.
This opens the door to something like that.
Are you eventually going to be like, welcome? And this might sound like an old person thing to say, but like, it's the All-State Championship between the PlayStation Buffaloes and, whatever.
And I mean, you look in like Japan or in,
because they're Colorado
England.
now.
The Apple Huskies in Washington or something like that.
Yeah. You look at other countries and like this is fairly standard. Like all the Japanese baseball teams is where I first go to, like the Nippon Ham Fighters. Like Nippon Ham is a sponsor and the Fighters are the team name.
What?
I'm not going to lie.
They're not the Ham Fighters. They're the Nippon Ham Fighters.
Corey,
which makes me sad.
This is new to me.
It was 12:08 p.m. on June the 13th where I learned that Nippon Ham was actually the sponsor of the club.
Is it actually ham?
I thought that was like maybe a city or
Do they get free ham as like part of their stuff, or?
I think we should ask you, Darvish, because he's the only reason I know that.
Do you think Guys, do you think they'll be in good hands with
Stop
this
it.
investment?
You need to stop that right now.
I absolutely do. That was a joke I made to Alec. I'm like, they are not in good hands.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That being said, the influx of money is beneficial to them. But you brought up that you don't like private equity firms because why?
Because it's a short-term answer to a long-term problem where, like we've talked about there, the widening gap in money between the top four conferences, the Power Four conferences, it just gets bigger and bigger. So the two smaller ones, the two less money-making ones, ACC, Big 12, they think they have to do whatever they can to keep up with it. But this is something to where private equity is all about the bottom line. So you sell, whatever 20% stake in your conference, well, you have to keep making this money. Mm-hmm. So my friend CJ made a joke. We're talking about this before I came on. Well, in the Big 12 title game, when the All-State Conference title game, or whatever stupid name they're coming up with. Exactly, except that's State Farm. They're both red. They're not going to sell enough hot dogs. They're going to have to kick Baylor out of the conference, right? Like, they're going to find different ways to whittle what you already know down to make sure that they're making enough money to please the people behind this.
Now, Kevin, somebody said that's no different than adjusting from Cowboys Stadium to AT&T Stadium. I mean, the money goes into Jerry's pocket.
Right.
Like for that, the money goes. Globe Life pays to have their name there. The Rangers benefit from that. And I don't think that Globe Life has much say in what the Rangers do. They're like, hey, this is the agreement. You get to put your name on our stuff. I don't know how much the private equity firm is going to have control over that. But I also don't know what kind of safeguards. I don't know what kind of safeguards Big 12 would put into place so that doesn't happen.
I think that's different too, because you're looking at an entire league being bought into, as opposed to just like the naming rights for a stadium. Because like college stadiums, like some of them they have sponsors, and this season the NCAA recently allowed teams to put sponsors on the field for regular season games.
Yep.
So I think it's just that's a little different.
And by the way, we're talking about the Big 12 here. They're not the only conference or set of teams that is doing this. Like Florida State, they already have talked about, they are, I guess, working alongside a private equity firm to try to help them maximize their value if they can get outside of the ACC, or to help them get out of the ACC. So even the Florida State coach is like, look, this is the future. If it doesn't start with us, because they're in the midst of it, it's going to start somewhere, maybe at the conference level, and then here you are. In the meantime, people are sending in alternate ideas from the 903, the Dollar General Commanders, from the 817, the Costco Cougars.
So
I
you
will
can get
admit,
that sweet hot dog and Coke deal.
yes, I also just like the way it sounds. So that's will Dennis Haysbert be the spokesperson for the conference? I believe he's with Allstate. He was the president in 24. I don't think that is going to go into effect.
He was the president in 2024?
No, in 24, the TV show.
Kevin spoiled the election.
No.
I'd vote for him.
Never, no, I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that right now.
I would like to suggest the 7-Eleven 12. If they're intent on keeping the 12 part of it, or like the Forever 21 12.
I'm a big fan of 7-Eleven
as you
12.
possibly can.
I do wonder this, and this goes back to the seeing it on TV kind of thing. What sponsor do the Celtics have on their jersey?
I'm sorry, Alec, I want you to say that on air because that was so clever.
I said the 5 below 12.
I like it. 5 below 12, yeah.
And then only have 7 teams in there.
Which they only have 7 of the original members, so it works out.
There's levels to this, Carter Freeman. There's levels to this.
I like this.
My apologies, Corey. I did not hear your question because I was enjoying
the Celtics sponsor.
Yeah,
I don't know.
On their jersey. You don't know, do you?
No.
Do you know?
Man, I felt like I looked at it a million times last night. I don't remember.
You absolutely did, and you can't remember. You don't know either, do you?
No, I know the Mavs.
Petco Panthers.
Is it Chime still?
Mavs is Chime, yeah. They pay a lot of money for that.
And that being said, they pay a lot of money to have it on the Celtics jersey too. And I saw it the other night, and I thought it said West Point, and I can't remember what it is right now. But the point is, I don't even care. It doesn't. People were freaking out about you can't put advertising on jerseys.
And it doesn't bother me either.
And then here we are, and it's like it doesn't. It hasn't affected me, obviously, because I didn't notice. I don't remember what it is. There are certain ads that I hear that I hate, that I have no clue what they are about, okay? I have no clue what they're trying to sell me, but I hear that you're singing the song right now, Kevin.
was not on air, thank you.
From 9 to 9.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be something that passes through. It takes part of it, and they're going to continue trying to use that money to pay players. Yeah, like gas or Arby's. They're going to continue to try and pay players to get into their schools, and they need that. Some of these schools desperately need this type of access and this type of money.
I was just going to throw in real quick.
It is Vistaprint, by the way.
Because in WWE, they partnered with Prime Energy, and they're like, we're going to have sponsorship on the mat. And a lot of people are like, oh, heavens no. How dare you sully the goodness and pureness of professional wrestling with that? After like 1-2 events, I don't even notice it anymore. To Corey's point, they showed lots of close-ups of, and I only know it's Chime for the Mavericks because like we cover them and we know that. I couldn't tell you anything about the placement on the jersey last night. For the Celtics, I saw it a million times, couldn't remember it. I don't think it will bother people either from that jersey perspective. I'm just wondering if, because there are still people to this day who won't say Commanders. They're like, they're not the Commanders. And
name one.
I know several, but will not. And so I'm curious if people are going to be the same way about this. And then Carter, real quick, what do you think about the From A to Z conference sponsored by Amazon and the Flex Seal Falcons? We got some really quality names already going here. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm curious how people react to it. But it seems like in all these situations, it's not quite as bad as people think it will be at first.
Ultimately, right now we're in June, and I, as a huge college football fan, I need college football in my life, and so we just kind of want to be mad about things right now. We want to talk about the sport.
Sure.
And so much of the off-the-field stuff recently has been negative, from the playoff drama last year to this going on now, and like some of the other things with the NCAA and the continued hemming and hawing about paying athletes,
all the lawsuits. Yeah.
Yes, and you're talking about Florida State. They need the private equity to pay for all the lawyers that they need. But one final fun stat that I had was in 2018, the Pac-12 had an offer for $1 billion for 15% of the conference from private equity. So they valued each team at $555 million. The Big 12, if they take $800 million for 20%, that's each school's at $250 million. So those 4 new Pac-12 teams are just they're paying pennies on the dollar. This private equity would be for all of these teams in the conference.
Wow!
And the Pac-12, everyone roasted them at the time for even considering it, and look, they don't even exist anymore.
Do you think this gets done? Because we talked about they're talking about it. It may happen. Do you think this gets done?
Yes. Yeah. Usually with college football, I found it doesn't get reported unless it's going to happen. So I do think something like this will follow through. If it's Allstate or whoever else, I saw like maybe a financial company would also be an option, but I do think this will happen.
And in addition to what he just said, it's money. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so that's why it gets done. That being said, Kevin, the Junk for Joy 12 would be an exceptional name for the conference.
I like the song. I know perhaps not it's not universally loved. It doesn't bother me at all. I kind of like it.
Maybe they can come up with a different one,
The No D conference.
That would work for Big 12.